Thanks for having me at NX Conf, former Narwhalian. NX has been a long time supporter of NgRx, so definitely glad about that, and happy to give this talk about optimizing your open source infrastructure with NX plugins. So we'll start with this. I dropped this tweet almost 2 years ago, and as we've seen today, NX has gone above and beyond this tweet by like leaps and bounds, but it's kind of funny how things come back around. You talk about a framework, and then you end up creating a thing, and then you get invited back to the conference. So here we are. I'm Brandon Roberts. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon T. Roberts. You can also follow me on YouTube at Brandon Roberts Dev. They gave me a nice little intro there, but I have fun on Twitter. I tweet about sports. I block people sometimes because that's what you have to do. I'm also the creator of AnalogJS, which is a full stack meta framework for Angular. Talked about NgRx and maintain on that project, also with a great team of people there. Also the developer expert in Angular, which means I've been around the community for a while, been able to do some cool things there, and we like to keep pushing things forward there. Also in the engineering lead at Open Source, we're helping maintainers and developers along the open source journey. I'll show you the picture here. You can get insights on open source projects. So you can check out the link that I have here at the top of the slide here. Connect your GitHub account, post some highlights about what you're doing in open source, and find some insights about your favorite open source projects. This is kind of like a little graph of NX, and as you can see, there's a lot of activity going on there, so definitely check that out. So for the agenda for this talk, we're going to talk about analog, because all these things kind of go together there. And we're going to talk about NX plugins and how they help you support your NX workspace or even your open source project. So first, we'll talk about analog, and if you haven't known already, analog is a full stack meta framework for Angular. But also, I'm really glad to reveal this secret. I don't know if many of you know this, but analog is an NX plugin. Yeah. Also, so it's been a while. We've been working on this thing, been able to build this thing together. And people just see the fruits of that, but NX has gone a long way in helping put this project together. So let's kind of talk about how this project came about and how NX kind of NX plugin fits into this picture. And this is something similar. Like I said, Analog is built on top of Vite, and of course the web ecosystem has been moving along in the direction of using Vite as its like underlying platform. And we wanted to integrate something like this for Angular, because we don't want Angular to be left out in the ecosystem of the web and tools that we think are like cool and trending and hot. So off doing our own thing, we kind of wanted to come back in the fold there. So created Analog, came with the idea for the project, and even Angular itself has started using Vite as part of its tool chain, which is pretty cool there. So like I said at the beginning, we kind of built this project. How did we get here? Of course, Angular, being built on top of Angular, there are a lot of things that had to happen as far as building blocks in the project itself that contributed to this project and moving the lifetime of this project, including things like standalone components that have been introduced in Angular to help simplify the component model, tools like ESBuild, using that for its underlying build tool. Even ESM, I know there are a lot of opinions about ESM and its share of pain in the web ecosystem, but it's helped along in this process also. And I'm going to talk about some of the other improvements here, including SSR, which the SSR story is improved in Angular a lot there too. And even with Analog and Vite, putting together this Vite plugin for Angular compilation, these are all things that are included in the repo that I'll get into. Things like dynamic imports that Vite supports, supporting content routes with Markdown, and some of the things that are included in Analog, such as file system-based routing and a Markdown plugin there. So this is a bit of the tools here that we had to build upon in this project for Analog itself, including NX. So one of those things being Nitro, which is like a universal like server rendering framework that helps you do things like pre-rendering, deployment targets, to support many deployment platforms, API routes, and it's very extensible there. So all these kind of ecosystems, each having their own extensibility, along with their extensibility, help get this project together. So going back to, like I said, the things that were kind of built around here, we have Analog, Vite, Nitro, and of course, NX. So NX is a big part of how we're able to build this and get everything together there. So of course, NX is, I guess, one of the questions that I had here when I started putting this project together was, like, how are we going to build this thing and how are we going to maintain it? Because part of it is trying to get the idea out there and how we're going to take care of, like, the maintenance side of things so that we can focus on the things, building things for this project, because it wasn't a small effort to do that. And of course, we wanted to use a monorepo for that, for the different plugins that we have for NX. And of course, using the NX plugin architecture, because it has some of the roots in the Angular ecosystem as far as using Angular schematics and builders, and NX generators and executors have gone and take that much further there. So that also factored into there. So, and also building on top of these analog features that I mentioned before, just a few quick points here. And these kind of rounded out the feature set: file system-based routing in Analog, server-side rendering for running it on a server, static site generation for building static sites for deployment just about anywhere. API routes are also included there, and other features just like server-only data fetching. But this is like more or less the client side of Analog and the feature set there. So next we want to talk about NX plugins, because this is where like I said, all the kind of like the maintenance side of the project and how it was able to offload a lot of those things and can help you if you're working with NX, maybe as just a consumer of these things, or if you're like some of the other speakers here have talked about, like developer experience, helping your workflow of your teams, these things can apply there too. So for those who may not be that familiar, what is an NX plugin? An NX plugin is a collection of functionality that extends an NX workspace. There are some things that you may be familiar with, such as generators, and I'll get further into these as I go along in the talk. Also executors, also things like automated migrations, things that you're familiar with NX Migrate. And there's a few extra things here like presets that you can use with your NX plugin. And these can be locally generated within your NX workspace, or you can, like I said, build a package and publish that to NPM and extend other workspaces also. So this is just a screenshot of the Analog monorepo, which is, coincidentally driven by NX also. It has a different kind of structure. It's like a hybrid structure. It has a set of buildable NPM packages, also applications for EDE testing, and local libs for just integration testing also. So the structure for the NX plugin here is slightly different because we have an NX plugin folder here, but the primary package is actually the platform package. So we build the NX plugin and package it with the platform, and that's what we distribute to NPM, so that we can kind of keep a clean separation between those two things. And NX is flexible enough, of course, to target different areas of where you want their files to be built. So for those who are maybe consumers of NX plugins but have authored one, NX plugin can be generated within an existing workspace. You can install the @nx-plugin package and generate a plugin using this command here. And so for the plugin, once you generate a plugin, you get like some of these things out of the box here. The generators being one of them that you can use for scaffolding, whether this be applications, or whether you want to generate, like I said, generate new applications. Be familiar with generating new applications in your workspace, generating libraries, like we talked about projects, when we're from 150 to 400 projects, each one of those could be libraries. Also just generating code for different tasks or things that you want to automate to enhance the developer workflow. One example of that is the application for generating an analog application within an existing workspace. So this is something that we package with the project itself that's customized, that it'll ask you different questions, or whether you want to add to a package like TRPC, or if you want to use Tailwind, things that you can customize to your application itself. I mentioned before, Analog has file-based routing. I'm just showing an example here of many of the different things that you can generate with the file-based routing there. And we can also automate that also with an NX plugin. So you have a page generator. You can provide a path to a file-based route, and it'll scaffold that out for you. So this is just an example. If you create a new generator, it just scaffolds out some initial code here that you can build upon. Just an async function here that kind of generate the files for the app, format it, and install any necessary packages. There are also executors. Executors are used for running tasks. And the thing that makes this very flexible in Analog is that these are platform agnostic. So if you're running Webpack underneath, like I said, if you're running Vite or ESBuild, Rollup, all these things are included with NX executors, or even Bun, which is like the new hot fast thing that is new hot and fast thing that's out there. But you can also use these things with a certain level of consistency using NgServe or NgBuild and get that consistent developer experience there. This is just an executor that you would get when you generate a new plugin. And like I said, you use it for running tasks, whether you want to invoke something on Node, or even NX is getting to the point where you can invoke things that aren't JavaScript based. So you can do that also. And this is just shown in things like NX Serve My App. You don't necessarily know about what the underlying tool is underneath. And of course, NX gives you those different plugins that are built out of the box, and then you can extend those as well. Also tools just as NX build platform, which is just a command we use for building one of the packages in Analog. Also, migrations are for open source projects. This has become very valuable because we can do things like upgrade developers to the latest version. We can upgrade dependencies. This used to be like a very labor-intensive task, because you have to write the code to update your package.json, to update packages. And now with NX, as part of this like infrastructure, you can add this to this package.json updates file, and you can also use these to create and modify code. This is just an example of package.json updates. We recently shipped a new version, and we needed to upgrade one of the packages to a later version because we added a new feature. Now, normally we have, like I say, you have to write these things manually to upgrade these files, but we can modify this package.json file, and NX will handle the rest during NX migrate. So, and you get the fancy command of NX migrating your Analog project to latest, or insert your plugin name here. Another thing is NX plugin presets. So today we can scaffold out a new Analog project with NX, or we can use the preset command if you're wanting to create NX workspace command to do that. So this is just an example here, and some of these things that have been covered in that you may have seen in the NX docs before also, but create NX workspace, define your workspace and select the preset, and it will automatically tailor that project, that new workspace to your needs. So if you have something for your company or your company creates new workspaces frequently and they have like a certain set of structure or certain things they want to pre-install, this can simplify that process also. So things that simplify a lot of the structure in the analog repo also that apply across the board, using things like NX affected. Of course, a smaller open source project may have 10 or 12 packages as opposed to a monorepo that has 400 packages, but you still get those savings there. Use the NX graph feature to make sure that your dependencies look correct and they're lining up there. Using NX migrate in an internal project, so we upgrade our monorepo just like you would at your project. And we, like I said, we use it twofold. We upgrade our dependency using NX migrate, and then we provide those migrations for you to use it for your own projects. One bonus is if you're managing an open source project, you get access to NX Cloud for free. So they definitely give you access to be able to take advantage of that, which has always been a bonus for Analog and even NgRx. So if you're running an open source project, you want to use NX Cloud, definitely recommend you reach out to someone there. But at the end of the day, it's about managing and expanding ecosystems. Analog is about expanding Angular into other ecosystems, and we're tying a lot of ecosystems together. So NX allows us to manage these multiple ecosystems without worrying about the interoperability between them. We get to tap into existing workspaces and bring our own set of value with the project itself. So one thing that we're moving towards here with the project and that goes along with the NX plugin is using the create package. Now this is similar to what you were running when you're using create NX workspace, and they've packaged that up to where you can create your own application CLI to scaffold a new project, or like I said, customize that so you can publish that to NPM or use it within your internal org to create new things there. Cool. So you can learn more about AnalogJS at AnalogJS.org. We got definitely wanted to give a shout out to the team members, Robin and Marco, who are definitely, and along with a lot of contributors, we have over 60 contributors at this point on the project. So really excited about that. If you want to get involved in the project, you can visit the GitHub repo at github.com/AnalogJS/analog and join the Discord and all that other good stuff. So we can keep pushing NX plugins forward and keep pushing the ecosystem forward. So to recap, I talked about Analog and how we kind of use NX plugins from top to bottom. We use the generators, executors, migrations, and everything else there. And talked about kind of the structure of an NX plugin and how you can apply it to your open source project or even your internal projects that you're managing at these large companies. And with that, thanks.
All right.